up there. All the audio went out there for a minute, so I'm going to start over and explain to you a little bit about what this whole session is all about. This evening, we're going to be talking about what is at risk to you when, like, how is your retirement at risk? And when I was building this presentation out, I was thinking, what should I call it? Should I say is your retirement at risk, or what is the number one thing that could jeopardize a solid retirement? And so the answer to that question really is very simple. And I hope you can appreciate this too. And if you're new to this channel, please like and follow. You're going to enjoy what we have to say tonight. The live stream is going right across LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And it's something that I believe that everybody's going to get a lot of use out of. I'm working off of 2 monitors. It's a new setup so that I can be able to watch the live stream and then answer any questions you might have. And so I hope that you have a little bit of patience for me, and I'll just check the audio is working and make sure that it is perfect. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about the things that could be jeopardizing your retirement. It's not about Ukraine and Russia. It's not about the volatile markets. It's not about that at all. To some extent, what I want to just preface this, and that is saying to you, you know, your retirement is going to be based off of you making sure that you put enough money towards retirement. If that is true and you've put enough money in retirement, then what we're going to talk about tonight is really simple. And I think you're going to appreciate that as well. This is tonight's theme: is your retirement at risk? And so let's just jump into this right away. I'm going to share with you a video. You're there, you're working, and you are trying your best to work as many hours as you can, enjoy your occupation. Sometimes you go home and you have a dinner like this. You're sitting at home, you're enjoying a nice glass of wine and really enjoying your lifestyle while pre-retirement is going on. You may be young, like that couple, doing a high five because you're meeting your budget, you're saving, you're trying your best to pay down your bills and save for retirement. And all the while, you're trying to track the market as well. And the stock market is really something that's not easy for right now, the last 2 months, to really feel calm about, because everything is upside down. But when you are sitting back, as this woman is, contemplating your retirement, and she's sitting there thinking about working really hard and all of this effort, putting your money towards something, and you think, okay, what am I going to do? Maybe I'm going to take a nice cruise. Those are nice, fun things to think about. Exotic locations, going to Europe, going through the United States, maybe Latin America, just enjoying your retirement. Those are the things that you're working so hard for, so that you can get to retirement and really have a fulfilled retirement. All the goals you have. You might want to also be, put that picture in your mind, growing old and running on the beach with your grandchildren, enjoying really these just epic times that I hope that you're all going to have in retirement. But the one thing that is really jeopardizing your retirement, and again, it's not the markets. It's not about you being careless with your money. It's this one thing. Have a look at this image here. Being unhealthy. That is the number one risk to having a long and fulfilling retirement. I know you're probably saying, of course, that's true. But so many people, when they're building their financial plans and they're meeting with their financial advisors, they're really focusing on sort of financial data points. How much money do I have to put away each month? What kind of rate of return will I need to get? How much is retirement going to cost? How much money will I need in retirement, and will it last through retirement? What if I stop working, 5 years earlier? What if I work a few years longer? When should I take my CPP? The questions are nonstop, right? Because that's what it means to go plan for retirement. But very few of the questions really really revolve around being healthy, planning for being a healthy person in retirement. Because you know what, there's something I wrote earlier a while ago, and it was about this idea that um, having not enough money in retirement is not as bad as being poor health in retirement. And the reason for that is there's so many community programs, government programs, local charities that help low-income seniors live and acquire the necessities of living, the daily necessities of living. There's a lot of support in that area, but it's really troublesome in terms of support. I'm not talking about having caregivers come over. What I'm talking about is just this idea of if you're at home and you're not of good health, it is really not a good idea. So I'm going to walk through how to have a healthy retirement, what to do to as you lead yourself towards retirement and being close to retirement, and how to just stay healthy both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I hope you can appreciate this, because it's one of the most important things you need to really focus on, because it's just not going to be a fun time. Let me look into the chat here and have a look. Hey, Shane, nice to see you. And we see a video. Yeah, Shane, I'm trying something new, and I realized tonight that when I put on a little video, the microphone turns off. Didn't know that, so that's new. So I'm going to have to figure out a workaround so you can hear me talk and see the video at the same time. Okay, so let's dig into these slides, and I think you're going to really find the information useful. So keeping healthy in retirement. So I just want to share with you a little bit of information about what I've seen in 20 plus years of doing this business. And that is, I've seen firsthand retirees. I've seen people who were relatively healthy and going into retirement years and being unhealthy, and what that meant for their dreams, their whole plans for the next 25 or 30 years in retirement, how that just went sideways on them, and what it happens of the feeling of depression comes in, of not this like poor me, I'm a victim and that kind of thing. At first there's some of that, but it's mostly about this idea that these hopes and dreams that you had for 25 or 30 years are now diminished, and you're now struggling with some kind of disability or poor health. And there's a feeling of hopelessness that comes over a lot of people that I've come into contact with, and not being able to contribute to your spouse or your partner, contribute to your family members, your adult children, your grandchildren, not being able to contribute to in the way that you may have been very active in your community. These things leave that person feeling with a sense of guilt, especially to their partner, because they feel as though their partner is now, being not kind of like held back, if you will. And that's such a wrong feeling, but they can't help but feeling this, because, their partner loves them and going to care for them. And they don't care about the fact that they can't get on a plane, go to Florida. But this person who is not feeling well or is unhealthy has those feelings, and it's a difficult thing to deal with. So what I want to talk with you about before you get to retirement, and certainly when you're in retirement, to now shift your attention, and I'm talking about the people that don't have these things already, right? And that is living with a sense of purpose. You have to, leading up to retirement, have a sense of what it is that you, why you're on this earth. In the beginning of in the middle of your life, you were thinking about raising a family and what kind of careers you might enjoy. And then you kind of had some interests and hobbies and passions, and you slowly started to develop what your purpose is here. And now your purpose is shifting. I met with a client, and we were talking about him caring for his mother. And I had said to him, he said, when my mother is gone, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I reminded him of something that he had forgotten. That was, I said to him, you wanted to do this with your career, with your life, but you had to stop that. More than 50% of the people have to stop work and retire early because they have to care for a family member. In this case, he was caring for his mother for many, many years now. And I reminded him that he had decided to devote his entire life to the care of people. And and if he ever is watching this video, which I hope he does, the exact words was, I said, you devoted your life to saving souls and to the care of others. And after your mom is gone, that doesn't end. That the caring for your mom was a warm up to the rest of your life and what you're going to do for others, and providing hope to them. And so it really lifted his spirits. And so that's part of what you have to get into grips is that if you can have this sense of purpose before you retire and carry that through to retirement, no matter what happens to you, whether or not you do become ill or you don't, there's a sense of purpose in retirement. Because when you were in your working years, you had a sense of purpose, right? You had an occupation, had a title, and you knew exactly what you were going to do. But when you leave that environment and you're at home and you have other activities, the activities are more surrounded around about what your interests are and not so much what your goals are. And so I want you to start to think about what your goals are as you go into retirement, what your sense of purpose would be, so that you don't lose this drive and this sense of what are you doing now? And part of that is helping you with your mental and emotional IQ as you're in retirement. Now, the idea of having a sense of purpose and living with a sense of purpose is really about living each day intentionally, to craft your daily activities in a way that is not just allowing the days to go by in a meaningless way with things that really don't have any true that are uneventful in your life. Okay, you want to make sure that your days are filled with something that is useful and enjoyment, either for yourself or for others, and enriching other people's lives. Of course, the first few months when you get into retirement, you're probably going to do whatever. The guys might not shave, you might let your hair grow, you might be in your pajamas all day. It's okay for the first few months to just settle into it. But at some point, you're going to start saying, okay, now what do I really want to do? And that's really what I'm trying to explain to you, is having a sense of purpose. Now, how do you develop a sense of purpose? It's really about your core values. What are the things that you value? What are the things you believe in? What are most important to you? Your passions, and forming your daily activities around your core values. So is this about community involvement? Is it about family, being involved with your family and being helpful in that regard? Is it about being, a caring person to your spouse? Is it about just deciding that you are going to go and participate in some kind of activity and do some mentoring to younger groups, or maybe to somebody getting involved in business and you're going to do some mentoring? Like what are your core values? And so that's really how you design your activities around your core values. Which people and which activities are going to strengthen your life and add positive energy in your life? Now, one of the best ways to do this is to reconnect with some of your old passions. Think about when you were young. Maybe it was a child, maybe you were a young adult, and there were things that you really, really enjoyed. They were like part of your DNA. You think about what you enjoy today as an older adult, and you think about, when did you first start liking that? And I can recall, share some of my own feeling behind this. I can recall my childhood growing up in a home with a father who sang opera all the time. And I love opera. And so one of the things that I'm looking forward to in my retirement is learning how to sing opera. I don't know that I want to go and sing at weddings. I just simply enjoy opera and classical music. And I think it would also be a way to connect both with my father, who's passed on, and my childhood. I think it would be an awesome thing. Other things that I grew up with was a passion for aviation. So continue to fly. Those are some of the things. Traveling with my wife. She's so curious about life and about places and things. And I know that it's going to be an exciting part of our life. Learning new languages. My wife and I met in a Spanish environment, and so we both love languages. So, those kinds of things, that what I'm talking to you about are so super easy to get back into connection with. And it's at a DNA level of who you are. And also because, doing those kinds of activity also mean I have to learn again. And part of this whole thing about being healthy and young at heart is making sure you're using your brain. Uh, one of the things that I'm going to read for you here, and that is, this is off of Statistics Canada. On average, this is retired people, okay? Their levels of emotional support, positive social interaction, affection, and community belonging were significantly lower than those that were still working. Retirement may separate many people from the social support that the workplace and co-workers can provide. So this is a Office Statistics Canada. If anybody's interested, I'll go ahead and share the link and so on. But the idea here is that fellow aviator. Yeah, Shane, I loved airplanes. I wanted to be a helicopter pilot when I was growing up. I won't get into the details, but I actually had learned how to fly, worked for an airline before I did this career, not flying planes. But it's something that I enjoy to do and I want to continue doing it. Okay, so the second thing that you have to do, so the first thing really was finding your sense of purpose. The second thing that you want to do is stay social. Staying social, we're not talking about a virtual world, having your friends on your phone and communicating that way and texting. We're talking about, and especially now that COVID is hopefully well behind us, and that is developing a real physical social network the way we did 2 years ago, where we got to go and sit down with everybody and just have a coffee and get together and do things. This virtual social network is good if you're away for a few days, but you need to be in front of people. Human beings are by our nature social creatures. We want to be around one another for the most part. And so face-to-face groups and interactions. So what are the benefits of staying social? Improving your brain health. Obviously, when you're communicating face-to-face and these nonverbal communication skills that we have, picking up on things when people are happy, excited about things, sad about things, experiencing anxiety, all those things when you're meeting and talking with your best friend or a group of friends, this is like plugging in to a battery charger. I know that when I get together in doing things that I really enjoy. For instance, I spent 7 years doing karate, and even though I would come home after karate totally exhausted, I was wired. My batteries were so charged because I was with people doing things that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm not talking about punching people in the face, but I'm talking about just being with people, doing activities that other people, like-minded people, are excited to do with you. And that kind of activity keeps you young. It keeps you sharp, it keeps the energy going. It's a healthy thing for you to do. And because you're doing those kinds of activities, being physically active, you are going to be healthy as well. It reduces the risk of dementia and cognitive decline by staying social. Improves your physical health by lowering your blood pressure. When you're with people and you're laughing and you're relaxed, your anxiety levels go down, your blood pressure goes down. You smile. You might even come home and have, pain in your cheeks from smiling so much. This is the kind of things you want to do. Prioritizing your friendships, involvement in the community. It's so helpful for your mental, emotional, and your physical well-being. Okay, let's talk about staying healthy. I just mentioned a minute ago about, my doing karate. Here's an activity. Golf. My wife says golf is for old people, and maybe she's right. But I see a whole lot of young people playing golf, and I think it's something you have to appreciate. But one of the things I love about golf is the pace. And when I say pace, I'm not talking about, slow play, and people get upset about slow play. When I'm talking about the pace is that everything slows down. You're not worried so much about work. You're with the person that you're in the cart with or walking with, and you're talking about just life. You're talking about things that matter to you. You're outside breathing really good fresh air. You're in the country, sunny weather, hopefully on your body, you're getting vitamin D, and you're enjoying the afternoon or the morning. It's a great sport that I've always felt that has been helpful. And any exercise you can do, whether it's doing walking and hiking. My wife and I go on hiking trips where we'll actually videotape some of those trips to show our friends some new trails. It's a useful activity because it really keeps you, especially some of the trails that can be sometimes demanding on your legs, and you come home and you're like, my hips are sore, my feet are sore. But that time to connect with whomever you're with, your partner, your spouse, in an environment outside of the home, outside of your worries, in nature, is so important because it really does strengthen your connection with one another, but it also makes sure that you are having a healthy relationship. And you do that before retirement and all the way through your years so that you can remain strong and healthy. Your physical strength is so important, to be able to just to be active with your spouse, but active with your grandchildren, to be able to run, to pick them up, to do certain activities that you're going to want to enjoy. If you're not going to be physically active, it's going to be difficult for you to just, to hear the words, come on, grandpa, come on, grandma, chase me, run with me. Those are going to be hard for you to do if you're not physically active. So here's an interesting statistic. Seniors spend 47 hours a week watching television on average. And it's such an easy thing for you to see. I saw it in both my father-in-law. I see it with my mother-in-law, although her environment is different. She's an 84-year-old woman, and she day trades nonstop with the television on, and she's not watching anything that has to do with fun and enjoyment. She's watching Fox News television, which I got her the subscription so she could watch it. And then in the evening, she watches her shows that she enjoys. But during the day, her activity, it keeps her brain sharp, day trading stocks. So it's really fun to watch. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind. Try not to watch too much TV. Okay. And the last thing that I'll share with you is really about your brain health. How do you keep your brain sharp, right? It's about making sure your diet is correct, physical activity, having intellectual, stimulating conversations with people that get you to think about your positions on politics, religion, economic things, whatever it is that you talk about. Being sharp, reading a lot helps as well. So the way that you build, they talk about creating neural pathways, new neural pathways. Well, how do you do that? When you create a new neural pathway, it's when you're doing something for the first time. So an activity that you might be doing, like it's a high level thinking activity. So it doesn't, if you're doing karate, for instance, what I enjoyed doing, you have to remember, just as an example, there were people that were in their 70s in my class. So the adult classes that began at 9:00 in the evening, there were people in their 70s doing karate for the first time. And when you're doing karate or any martial art, you're not doing it because you want to learn how to punch somebody in the head. You're doing it because, one, you want to be social, you want to be physically active, and doing any martial art, even yoga, is going to strengthen your body in a way that you probably have never experienced before. And so you're going to be actually very strong and very limber. Limber, is that the right word? You're going to be able to stretch easily. I never had any back trouble after I started doing karate, and my back has been like super awesome. So, but one of the things about doing a martial art, and that is you have to remember katas. Katas are a series of movements that you have to do one after the other in perfect form, and you have to know them forwards and backwards. And so these movements might have 20 to 30 different movements in them, and you would have maybe a dozen different katas to learn, and then katas with weapons and katas just doing different physical movements. And so the actual thinking and remembering about what moves, it was awesome for cognitive. So that high level thinking was super important, and I enjoy it to this day. That is really what I wanted to talk to you today about. The single biggest important aspect of retirement and having a successful long retirement is not about the markets. It's not about will you have enough money to retire. It would be if you didn't save enough. But I always tell people, get a financial plan done, work with a financial advisor, make sure you have a plan that shows you exactly how much money you're going to need in retirement and that you're on track. I've said it in videos before about all my clients get a financial dashboard so they can see exactly in 60 seconds, are they on track? And what are we doing to make sure they're continuing to be on track? If all of those things are done, then the only thing you have to be worried about is staying healthy. And that is the fun part of being retired, is all of the activities you're going to be able to do. So I just wanted to share that tonight because I had seen some people recently that their retirement is coming off the rails a little bit because they're not healthy. And I wanted to do a video that I thought should be timely, just to remind everybody that there are two things you have to do. One is you have to do the math around retirement. And the second is you have to be healthy. And so get out there, be physically active, engage in some real eyeball to eyeball, knees to knees, social interaction with people, challenge yourself intellectually, chase down these passions of yours to keep the fires burning and to keep you excited about the 25, 30 years you're going to have in retirement, and to just really enjoy. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with tonight, and I think it's the number one thing that I do every single day, and I don't think you have to do everything I do, but I would say this is the number one thing that I start my day and I end each day, and that is with gratitude. I wake up with a sense of gratitude of the day that I've been given, and to make it count, to make it worthwhile. And I end every evening with gratitude and prayer. And I say, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for giving me another day on this earth with my family and doing all these things. And I hope I wake up with another gift to be able to have another day. So gratitude, I think, is the other big thing for you to have through leading up now before retirement and leading you right through retirement, is to have a sense of gratitude about your life. Okay, thanks so much for joining me on this day. It was great to see you. I tried to do these things in under a half an hour. I'm trying to get better and better. I think I am. If you liked some of the details that I gave you today, please like and follow. Share this with anybody that you think needs to hear it. I'm on live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find all of these videos on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And please put your comments below in this video or any of the other videos I have on YouTube. And we'll see you next week. Thanks so much and enjoy your evening. Take care.